Oh, good day, everybody. This is Chris, the Ancient Scholar. I hope this video finds you all doing well. And in this particular video, I'm going to do a quick rundown of histology, which is the study of tissues. And I'll be talking about the major categories of tissues in a very stripped down, zoomed out, 30,000 foot view, high yield manner. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's just talk about what tissues are first and foremost. Tissues are technically defined as groups of cells that have a similar structure and work together to perform some specific function. So we generally say that two or more types of cells working together to produce some specific function is what defines a tissue, and then two or more tissues that are working together towards some specific function would form an organ. And so that is kind of the divisions of life that I've talked about in other videos. The study of tissues is known as histology, and in animals, like human beings, there are four major categories of tissues. The first major category, and I'm not going in any particular order, but the first one is what we call nervous tissue. And the function of nervous tissue is to transmit and process information, and that consists of neurons and the supportive cells that support the neurons, known as the glial cells. The second category of tissues are what we call muscular tissues. The main function is contraction and the production of movement. And there are three major groups of muscular tissues. There's smooth muscle. It's found in your lungs. It's found in your blood vessels. You've got cardiac muscle in your heart, and you've got skeletal muscle that allows for the external motion of your mainly your appendicular and parts of your axial skeleton. This is also to varying degrees under conscious control. The next category of tissues are what we call the epithelial tissues, and the epithelial tissues cover surfaces and organs and control the motion or movement of materials across the surfaces that these epithelial tissues form. So anytime you have the inside or outside of the body interfacing with the external environment, you will also have an epithelium that separates the outside from the inside of the body and helps regulate the movement of stuff from the outside in and from the inside stuff out. There are multiple ways of talking and categorizing epithelial tissues. We can talk about them as far as if the cells form layers. If it's just a single layer, we say that that is a simple epithelia, just one layer of cells like you would see in the alveolar capillary membrane within your lungs, where you have gas exchange occurring, diffusing through the alveoli into the vasculature of the lungs. That's just a simple epithelium to allow for easier, more efficient diffusion of gases. You also have what's called stratified epithelial surfaces, where you have multiple layers of cells, and classically you'd see this in like your skin, which consists of several layers of cells and dead cells. And then you can even have something called pseudostratified epithelial tissues, which appear stratified, but they're actually not. And then we can also categorize epithelial tissues by the shape of the cells. So you can talk about how, if it's multi-layered, or the shape of the cells. If they are thin, flat cells, those are called squamous cells. If the cross sections look like little squares, we call those cuboidal. And if they look like long columns, those are referred to as columnar epithelial tissues. And then we can combine the concept of simple stratified or pseudostratified with squamous, cuboidal, columnar. And so you can have simple squamous epithelial tissues like you see in the alveoli of the lungs, or you could have stratified squamous cells like you would see in the surface of your skin. And you could also have simple and stratified cuboidal and simple and stratified, even pseudo-stratified columnar epithelial tissues. And then the last category of tissues are referred to as the connective tissues. And the connective tissues support and bind other tissues. And these are classically characterized by cells and fibers, various cell fragments that are embedded within an extracellular matrix that is not made up of cells. So you have the actual cells of the tissues then surrounded by an extracellular matrix, and generally there are various fibers that are also embedded within that matrix. There are 6 major types of connective tissues. The first major type is what we refer to as the liquid connective tissues. A classic example is blood. Blood is a connective tissue. So you have blood cells, the white blood cells, the red blood cells, the platelets, and some fragments that are floating or embedded within a liquid matrix known as plasma. The next major category we call the loose connective tissues that consist of the areolar and the adipose or fatty tissues. You also have the lymphoid connective tissues. You've got the dense connective tissues. You've got your cartilaginous or cartilage tissues. And then the last one is bone. And that is a brief high-yield overview of histology, as least as it is seen in animals. Hopefully you all found this video helpful, and we'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.